Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we're going to use elements of the Hearth Home suite to make this lovely Such Happy News card. So I haven't played a lot with this set. I'm using the Honeybee Home stamp set for the flowers and the greeting, and the Honeybee Blooms dies for the card, and then the Hive 3D embossing folder to do the very vanilla piece. So what I've got is basically a basic gray card base with a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of the Hearth Home Designer Series paper, a piece of 4 by 2 3/4 very vanilla to run through the embossing folder. I've got just, you need a scrap of the basic gray to cut out some of the background leaves. And you're going to need a piece of pale papaya cardstock to stamp the flowers and the greeting in and cut out with the dies. And the greeting I cut out with the smallest of the stitched rectangle dies. It fits in there just perfectly. I've also added a piece of pale papaya cotton ribbon. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I'll just pop this up here so that you have reference to what the very vanilla piece is. I'm going to clear some of these things out of the way. I have already stamped and die cut everything. So I'm just going to move those things out of the way so we've got some room to work. You can color these in if you want. I chose to leave them as is. First thing I am going to do is I'm going to run this piece of 4 by 2 3/4 very vanilla cardstock through the Hive 3D embossing folders. So I will just run that through. And again, when you use your embossing folders, you always put the folded edge in first and you put it in flat across, because if you put it in at an angle or if you put it in open end, you could actually break the embossing folder. So I know when we talk about die cutting, especially with a straight edge like this, we say don't put the straight edge against the roller, put it in at an angle. That does not apply to your embossing folders. So we can get started constructing this card. You can decide which way up you would like to have your Hive embossed paper. This is what they're calling the right side up, and you can tell what's the right side up because it's got the Stampin' Up logo on it. This is always the right side up. So when you pull this, whatever you've embossed out of the folder, that's the right side up. But that doesn't mean that has to be the side you use. You can turn it over if you prefer that. I am going to leave it this way for this one though. So I am going to adhere my Designer Series paper from the Hearth Home set to my basic gray card base, making sure I've got it the right way up. This one is directional. The bumblebees need to fly the correct way up. I'm sure they wouldn't be happy hanging upside down. Now I've taken this piece of pale papaya ribbon and I've just run it along the bottom of the card. So I'm just putting some adhesive on the back. And I'll put that down. And the nice thing about this folder is you can actually line this up really straight because you just follow the beehive. And then this is flat mounted onto the card. So we'll just do that. And then we will pop this in. And I'm putting it up towards the upper left-hand corner. I wanted the bees and the detail on the side here to kind of be visible. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some liquid glue and just put down just little dots. Oh, I had this sitting out. There we go. I'll take the little glue cap off. And it doesn't want to work for me. Come on. So let's just, there we go. unfortunately, I did the card, and then I had to make dinner for my kiddos because they are going out. And then I forgot to put my lid back on my glue, so it got a little bit of a glue cap on it. But, so I'm just going to pop this just under the edge of the ribbon and just tap it down and just hold it just for a second so it has a chance to adhere. And then I took this set of flowers and I used dimensionals to stick it down. I can put one dimensional, a large one there, and I'm going to use just some little ones. Little one right there like that. So then I'll just adhere this down, and you can really kind of cant it out so that it's way out, or you can just have it like that, and I am going to put it like that. Now what I did with the second one is I wanted the kind of the grassy frond to come forward. So I put the flowers down first, and then I put down the gray piece and just tucked some of it underneath and left some of it out. So we will adhere this, and you can do these in different colors if you want. You could do the fronds even in a gold if you wanted to. So I'm just tucking this over here towards the edge like that. And see, even this frond can come and sit over top. You just have to flex it up there. There we go, just over top like that. Now this one, you can decide where you're going to put it. If you're going to have it kind of come out like that or go over top like that. But I'm just going to add some glue to it. And I'm only going to glue at the bottom bit of it because it's not going to be dimensionalized like the other flower. So it's actually going to sit a little bit freer. So there we go. Now we got glue going on. And I'm just going to tuck this in like that and just tuck it down. And what that does is it leaves this kind of higher up on the card. So it actually does have a real 3D look to it. And if you wanted to tuck a piece under, you could tuck a piece under. And as I say, I've already stamped these Such Happy News in the basic gray on a piece of pale papaya. I'm going to dimensionalize this and pop it right on top of that piece of ribbon, covering up the stems of my flowers. And then we are going to use some of the classic matte dots that are actually also part of this suite. So I'm just going to center that. Oh, and I'm not centered at all. So we'll do it this way. Center that. And there we go. Make sure it's straight, and we are straight. So I'm going to use the classic matte dots, and I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors. There's lots of ways to do this. Usually I use my Take Your Pick tool, but I just happen to have my scissors handy, so I thought I would show you how to do it with scissors. And then you can put as many of these classic matte dots down as you want, and that one is now part of my sweatshirt. So let's just pick it back up again and pop it down like that. And there we have a Such Happy News card that you could send to anybody using the elements from the Hearth Home set, the Honeybee Home stamps, the Honeybee Blooms dies, and the Hive embossing folder, along with the Hearth Home Designer Series paper and the classic matte dots. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.